Good afternoon, everyone. Team Dravya is glad to welcome all the finance enthusiasts to this session on early investment strategies and term sheet analysis with our speaker, Ms. Vandana Tolani. Ms. Vandana Tolani have worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors in Jakarta, Indonesia. She has worked for more than 15 years in Jakarta and Singapore. Over the years, she has arranged funding for startups and growth companies in diverse sectors like fintech, B2B tech, just to name a few. Coming back to India, she is now the founder of Convanto, which is considered to be one of the most well-known boutique investment bank in India. Today, she is also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, an in-seed-led. Today, she is also venture advisor with Loyal VC, the in-seed-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries, and also a partner with GSD Venture Studios, a Silicon Valley-based venture builder. Before we would begin with the session, I would like to request all of you to kindly switch on their cameras. With this, I would like to request Ms. Vandana Tolani ma'am to kindly acknowledge today's session.
So, hi everyone, and first of all, I want to thank all of you that you took out your precious time on a Saturday evening to come for this session. I am sure that you're going to benefit from this session. After the session, please feel free to ask questions if you have. Sanskriti has already given my introduction, but I would like to just give a brief introduction about myself and the achievements that I have made in this month as well. So I had my own family office in Singapore and Jakarta, and I worked as an investment banker and advisor to family offices and angel investors in Jakarta, Indonesia. Helping startups from a diverse background, from fintech, B2B tech, all the way to consumer startups, I was raising funds for them and providing them with a range of services, just as Convanto does today. After 15 years of staying in Singapore and Jakarta, I came back to India. I did investments for a bit, then returned to advisory. That is when Convanto was founded. Today, Convanto is one of the most well-known boutique investment banks in India, led by a female founder. I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries. I'm also a partner with GST Venture Studios, a Silicon Valley-based venture builder. Over the years, I arranged funding for startups and growth stage companies in diverse sectors like edutech, fintech, consumer, B2C and B2B, agri-tech, health tech, food tech, disruptive and deep tech, as well as non-tech sectors. I would recommend all of you to have a look at my website and do have a look at the wonderful testimonials written by my clients. This month, I have been nominated as one of the top 10 women leaders in Wealth Management 2021. My expert opinion is often sought by leading business news channels and publications like VCTV, Business World. I've participated in 155 talks worldwide. You can easily see them on YouTube and VCTV streaming sites or on my website. All the talks are mentioned there. I'm connected with 300 plus investors globally, and we pick up global deals. We are sector agnostic, and typically we do a $1 million to $25 million. Now, coming to today's session about early investments and term sheet analysis, I'm going to present a PPT that's going to help you a lot to understand what is term sheet analysis and what is early stage investments. Post that, I would recommend all of you to ask as many questions as you want so that you get more clarity as to how to move about if you want to pursue this as a career. I'm assuming most of you are students here, hence I'm saying this.
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, okay. Sorry, there's something happening with my computer here. So what is today's topic? So I'll just start with the first slide. It's about early investment opportunity and term sheet analysis. Founder's background you already know. Now, what is early stage investing? Early stage investing refers to investing in young businesses, startups, and other organizations, realizing their growth opportunities and values. Now, investing at this level usually happens in the first 3 stages of a company's external funding rounds. One is funding provided to help to kickstart the business. This is called seed funding, which is just a start which you are getting. Startup funding, which is used to develop business operations, marketing, and product release. And then is early growth funding, money used to fund expansion, growth, and size of operations based on early stage, early results and potentials. Now, what are the early investing methods? In most cases, it is a high net individuals, which is HNIs, that look for early investing opportunities. However, anyone from a student to professional can take advantage of early investing opportunities in these forums. Angel investing, usually a HNI or group that invests in companies that need financial backing for capex and expansion or other reasons in the early growth stages in exchange for equity stake in the company. Venture capitalism, private equity investing in young startups or businesses that show high growth potentials in the long run. Unlike angel investors, these investors may not have ties with business personally, but they see opportunities for high value in organizations in future. Nowadays, there are many VC funds that help with early stage investments. They come in with a lot of support, a technology support, a marketing support. They help you back all throughout. So I usually recommend everybody to go for VC investments because they are very professional. You can easily look them up on LinkedIn. When an angel investor or an HNI, you have to really do a ref check, a proper ref check, and have a thorough about their backgrounds because we don't know what kind of money they are bringing in. Then comes accelerators. These are programs, these programs, accelerators, they provide programs that give developing companies access to mentorships, investors, networks, support like technology, marketing, and all these other areas where a company would need help in. Let's go to what are the different things that one needs to look at as in the pros of early stage investing. Now, tremendous upside as an early stage investor. If the company succeeds, there will be exponential returns on the investment due to the increase in the company's valuation and net worth. Many cases where investors have walked away with multi-bagger exits on early investments, high reward or high risk, and then diversity portfolio and utilize risk profile to place such early investments to widen possibilities while having safe investment. These are all the pros about it. Taking advantage of unprecedented technological developments, charged entrepreneurs, and investing in real economy and co-investing. Now, when the pandemic hit us, lots of different technologies came in and lots of disruptive work came in so that we can support them. It is very important that what is the problem that you are solving, that the investor should put in the money in. A high risk due to lack of, now what are the cons of it? A high risk due to lack of performance related data of the startups or early business, hard to gauge point of exit and time frame for growth in most cases, need of high discipline, understanding and analysis before investing. In certain jurisdictions, acceleration for early investing is required. However, investing in the crowdfunding rounds is a way around this. Now, suggested that there would, be due to the high risk profile, very little of an investor's portfolio, that is a play money, will be invested, and hard to determine right picks in a sea of startups, and even harder to get access to invest in later stage startups. Now, how do you solve this? Most investment bankers like us, we have strong relationships with the MDs of the funds. All you need to do is reach out to the right kind of investment bankers. They will take you to the right kind of investors and pitch your deal. That way, if you do cold calling, usually you get a lot of no's. That way, you'll get easy access to the investor as well. Now, moving forward, let's see what is the Indian startup ecosystem all about. COVID-19 has skyrocketed the growth of a lot of startups, but also crushed the dreams of millions of entrepreneurs. 90% of startups fail within the first 5 years without unique business models or innovations. So it is important to identify and be creative and create impactful startups to gain as an early investor. Over 50% of all startups are technology enabled and AI driven. Now let's see the different sectors in 2020 that got funded. Enterprises tech got 15%, health tech 10%, educational tech 9%, financial tech 9%, retail tech was 7%, consumer tech was 6%, HR tech was 6%, media and entertainment was 4%, advertising and marketing was 4%, and logistics was 3%, and other areas was 28%. These many investments happened in 2020. I myself in 2020 closed 4 deals. So you can imagine that there is enough capital in the market, but one needs to be able to structure it in the right form to get the right kind of investments. Now, what is a term sheet? A term sheet establishes the specific conditions and agreements of a venture investments between an early stage company and a venture firm. Now, what happens is, say you have reached out to an investment banker. They will take at least 2 months to bring out the term sheet from an investor. Now, in the term sheet, the investor has written clauses that he or she will put in this much money in your startup, against which they will take an equity stake in your company, and what are the different things that you need to do based on the term sheet. Basically, term sheet is short, usually less than 10 pages, and is only prepared by the investor, not by the startup. And term sheets are not generally legal binding other than in respect of confidentiality, exclusivity, cost, jurisdiction, the evidence and intent of parties to them. So if you get a term sheet from your family or a friend, that easily you can work around it. But VC term sheet will have lots of clauses that you have to show to your lawyer to get it done properly. The term sheet will be one of the most important documents that you ever sign. This document can dictate how much you will enjoy seeing your startup grow, as it outlines the key terms of your deal with your investors. Now, nature of a term sheet. The term sheet is all about dividing the upside risks between parties. And to do so, there are a number of standard clauses that can be included. Any situations might differ, but understanding these clauses is already a good first step towards making the right decisions. The key clauses of a term sheet can be grouped into 4 categories. One is deal economics, total size of the round, valuation and conversion, participation and dividends. Then the second is investor rights and protection, anti-dilution rights, pro rata rights, ROFR, co-sale rights of no-shop clauses, governance, management and control, voting board and information rights, and exits and equity. They all drag along the rights, and these are all redemption rights. So naturally, they'll have exit clauses, because why is the investor putting hard-earned money in your company? Why is he giving you a term sheet? Because when he sees the money is multiplying, when he takes the exit, that is when he makes the actual money. Now, what is the importance? The term sheets are important documents for both investors and founders for a number of different reasons, like encourage the parties to focus on important commercial issues, allowing the parties to address any misunderstandings or problems, and to allow legal principles to be settled, outline any conditions which need to be satisfied, provide an outline of the process with regard to due diligence, and to outline the timetable for negotiation and completion of the transaction, and set out any binding elements which have been agreed between the parties. It's a very, very important document, just like pitch deck is an important document. Now, what all you need to keep in mind? You have to decide whether the document will be legally binding, partially binding, or not binding at all. And since the position may not always be clear, legal advice and clear legal drafting will eliminate most uncertainties. Not take any decisions based on current relationship with the founders due to long-term prospects and time period. Term sheets can be risky documents to use, since any ambiguity can cause uncertainty over the exact nature of relationship between the parties. And a good term sheet should save you time and money, but a poor one will have the opposite effect. Now, we had one fintech founder. We got him 3 term sheets from Singapore, from India, and from UK. But, he failed in his DD. And while we informed him that, to fix his DD, he was not able to fix his DD on time, and due to which all the funds backed out. So all the term sheets that we brought out, all the hard work that went into it, all went into drain. So these things you need to keep it into consideration. These are some snapshots of term sheets that I have put here as well, for you to see what are the different term sheets that, how does it look like? Because the moment we say term sheet, people get really scared. What is it all about? And then that's mostly all about it. Also, it is very, very important when you are, when you are starting, have your business plan vetted by somebody, a mentor, an advisor, so that you go in the right direction of getting your investments done. If you plan to start your own startup, make sure you invest in the right kind of pitch deck, business plan, have a CFO and advisor on board, these things will really help you. We had one founder, after he got the money, he bought a car, and the other founder treated cancer. So it is not used for personal use. It is the investor's hard-earned money, and it is given only for business purposes. So say, for instance, you cannot manage the money. You have to give it to the CFO or an advisor in your company and financial officer that, look, this is the money I cannot manage, so you guys manage it. That way you will not make wrong decisions. Hence, it is very, very important to move in the right direction. And even if you're planning to get into this field of investments, practical knowledge will help you more than bookish knowledge. So make sure that you are doing some internships with good companies that explain this very well, so that you can get the hang of what is investment banking, what is investments, how does startup funding happen. And maybe if you have your own money, you can start investing also in small firms, and make sure that you have a proper complementary team, a marketing team, a technology team, an operations team, because everybody is not skillful to do each and everything. So these are some of the important factors that you have to keep in mind when you're into an early investment opportunity. And also, whenever you get the term sheet, it is important that you show it to the right person before you take a call. Maybe a lawyer may not be the right person. Maybe you can show to an investment banker. Maybe you can show to a mentor that, look, I've received this term sheet. Should I go ahead or no? So, if you guys are open for the questions, we could take some questions now. Sanskriti.
Yes, ma'am. If you guys have any queries or doubts, you can put it in the chat box, or if you want, you can open up your mic.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask a question. So what courses do you recommend? What courses should we take, like extra courses, in order to learn more about investment?
See, you need to read a lot of books. Keep yourself updated with the latest thing that is happening. Now, let me give you an example. When you remember when the demonetization had hit us, many of us didn't know how to use Paytm. Now, what happened as a result of which we were forced to use Paytm? Then we learned that what is the advantage of having digital payment system. Now, if you see vegetable vendors, taxi, bhaiyas, almost everybody is using these services. Now, when the pandemic hit us, people were skeptical to use Zoom. Then they realized the importance of Zoom and having meetings online, and saving a lot of time in traveling and closing things faster on Zoom. Then because they were forced. So one needs to be proactive and progressive. Now, there are lots of articles posted on Forbes. There are lots of startup books available. And it is important that you do some good internships with some investment banks where you can have hands-on experience. Bookish knowledge and hands-on experience is totally different. When you have when you're continuously studying, you're not getting the hands-on experience as to what is happening. So I think it's very, very important that, gain some hands-on experience, like working with an investment bank, doing some good researches on good topics, see what are the latest things happening in investments. Everything is changing all the time in terms of technology, in terms of so many other things. So you have to keep yourself updated. Naturally, the books that you have has a particular kind of course that may have been written a few years back. Am I right or wrong? Right. Now, you are following that, but the trend could be something else. Something else could be happening in investments. So you need to keep yourself updated, keep your LinkedIn profile nice from now only. Make sure your LinkedIn is very enhanced. Start working on what are your goals. So there are many things that you need to work on. And it's very, very important to, work somewhere so that you understand that this is how things work. Because each and every place where you go, you'll have different experiences. Like I'll tell you, when interns work with me also, what happens is they have to do a lot of things. They have to help me with my Excel sheets. They have to help me with my researches. So automatically they are getting that knowledge also. So these are the different things that can help you. They learn about investments. They learn what is a term sheet. They learn who are investors. So I think it's very, very important that you have some hands-on experience while you're doing your studies. the actual interaction in universities have stopped. So everybody feels stuck at home. Everybody feels that how to manage their show. But while you're at home, you can do these things. That's going to help you out as well. So this is my thought process. I'm not perfect in guiding, but I can just tell you based on my experiences.
Ma'am, in the chat box, we have one more doubt from Sejal. It says, ma'am, students like us, how can we start investing?
See, now when you're doing internship or when you start working somewhere, you start saving up some money. Even if you're getting pocket money, start saving up, start small things. Many of you will have very good skills. Maybe somebody is good in cooking, maybe somebody is good in writing, maybe somebody is good in baking cakes, maybe somebody is good in, other stuff. So pick those skills up. Always you must have a skill. Now start working on those skills. Build up your entrepreneurship skills. While you're working somewhere, side by side, build your entrepreneurship skills. Start saving money. Don't blow the money, whatever you get at this stage. When you start saving the money, then slowly you will come up with an idea, a vision, a mission, what you want to do. Make 2-3 friends. Look for an idea, make a business plan. So there are steps involved in it. It just doesn't happen by the press of a button. When I started also, I was working somewhere. Then I started on my own. And then like this, I moved on. So naturally, you have to, when we learn alphabets also, we start with A, B, and then we go to Z, right? We have to follow the steps. So I think you have to follow certain steps as well. Start building your skills as an entrepreneur if you're looking to become an entrepreneur.
Ma'am, I had a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if suppose I have to do an internship, so how should I choose which company should I intern at to get such skills? Or what should be in my CV that, aligns with their needs?
See, it is very important to work with a VC or an investment bank or a fund, wherein you get the hands-on experience of doing different kinds of deals with different kinds of investors, with different kinds of startups. Now, naturally, in your CV, you have to share your experiences. Like I can just share, so I'll just tell you, my daughter was in grade 10 when the pandemic happened. Now she wanted to utilize her time, in a productive manner. So what she did is she started working for a cake company where the revenue was zero. She did their website, she did their Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, and the revenue of that company became 3 times more. Now, she utilized these skills instead of wasting time on social media to build up something. So that added on to her CV, right? She keeps on doing lots of internships. So she did internship with me also. She built up my websites. She did stuff with me. So now that she's in grade 12, but she's already has those entrepreneur skills. So you need to build up those skills, have different areas. See, many of you might not know what is digital marketing properly. Digital marketing needs to be done really, really properly. Now, if you are planning to open your startup, have you done a digital marketing course? And, do you know the steps? Because you will need to market your company, right, at some stage. So if you cannot hire a social media marketer or you cannot outsource the work, you have to manage it yourself. So these things you must be aware of. Like I do my social media myself. I don't outsource it to anybody because I have hands-on experience with it. So you need to build up these skills, then how you're going to sell your product. All these, there has to be some skill involved in it. You might be good in marketing. You might be good in operations. Somebody might be good in handling finance. So build up those skills and keep on adding those skills. So the more skills you have, the more opportunities you'll get, and the more that you'll benefit out of it. Because even say for instance, you are girls, all of you, I'm hoping. Now what's going to happen is, in India, this marriage thing is very this thing for the girls, and at this age parents start pouncing on them, but they don't realize that it's very important for the girl to be financially independent first. Then marriage comes much later. Now, if you don't have any skill and you get married and something goes wrong with the marriage, but you don't have any skill, what are you going to do? You're going to, be left scattered. So, if you have a skill, you can start something on your own. You can move on with your journey if some accident happens later on in your life, like a separation or your husband passes away or something. So, you have to be ready for those things. That's the thing. I see some more questions here. I hope I've answered your question, Akanksha.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Kusha has another doubt. It says, how do you find the right company to intern with?
Okay, so basically keep your LinkedIn enhanced. When you come across some intern opportunities in VCs, in funds, in investment banks, do some ref checks on them and then join them. I mean, LinkedIn is the best platform because it's very, very professional. Everything comes from LinkedIn. So keep your LinkedIn in order. The best thing is to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Then another query, it says from Suprabhat Kisan, it says, how can one find a financial co-founder for a startup who is interested in our sector, or should we go for someone who has good experience in finance and worked in many big firms? Is there some consulting company for this financial startup journey?
See, the thing is, firstly, look into your own network. Who is best suited as a co-founder in your startup? Otherwise, there are many platforms on Facebook, on many platforms on LinkedIn, where you can actually post your requirements and you can get the right kind of co-founder. Even there is one more app called Founders Genie, where people post about their stuff. So there are many educational apps like these. Can you explain the types of term sheets? So let's go back to the slides. Somebody has asked, what are the types of term sheets? See, there is 2 or 3 types of term sheets. One is an equity investment, one is a debt investments, and one is a CCD. These are the 2-3 types of term sheets that we have. Now, each term sheet varies from one another because depending on the investor, what is the investor, wanting, what is the investor seeking? If the investor is seeking equity investments, then you will get an equity term sheet. If the investor is seeking, CCD, then you'll get that kind of term sheet. So these are broadly the 2 term sheets that are there. There is no other 3rd or 4th kind of term sheet, and it all depends from startup to startup.
I guess it answered your query, Ananya. Yes. Another query we have come up with. Suprabhat has another query. Should we choose stock market for investing, or should we go for VCs, firms, companies for internship at this time of pandemic?
I think you should opt for going in VC firms because that will help you more. Stock market. Now, in stock market is a gamble. You have to put in money and see what's happening. Is it multiplying or no? That you can do at a later stage when you have little, like, say, some savings, and you can invest about 25,000-30,000 to see how it goes. in the stock market, then invest more, then invest more. But for doing an internship, VC firms are the best.
I guess we are done with the queries. In case of any queries, you can just open up your mic and just start asking your doubts or queries.
Do we have more questions coming up?
I guess we have no questions. Okay, thank you so much for such an insightful session today. I think all the participants was a great learning experience for all of them.
Thank you so much for having me here. I would just like to give a message over here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, every single person I know who is successful at what they do is successful because they love doing it. And anything can be done as long as you truly believe in it. So, have the conviction in you and do read the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And always remember that you will only be criticized by someone who is doing less than you, not who is doing more than you. So don't let, that affect you, because what happens is that girls are very sensitive. They get affected by criticism and they stop believing in themselves. So don't fall for that, believe in yourself, have the conviction, be centered in your mind, be positive, and, do what you feel is right for yourself with your instincts, and don't get swayed by criticism or somebody commenting on something. You can always reflect on it and make changes to it, but don't just stop believing in yourself because of that. So that's my small message. For me, you do read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and also read Power of the Subconscious Mind. When you read these two books, you'll get so much clarity. See, firstly, when we are moving towards in a direction, we must have clarity about ourselves first and have our minds in center. Why do you think today business men or women are successful? Because they have their mind in center, and calm and composed in midst of all the chaos. Now, if your mind is not in center, like if you remember, I shared two examples. That person bought a car with the investor's money. Now, that's highly unprofessional. If your mind is not in center and you're using the investor's money to burn, or you're doing things in just hitting in the dark, how will you progress? So it's a journey. Success is a journey that happens stepwise. It doesn't happen in a minute by the press of a button. It has to have come with a lot of perseverance, patience, hard work, And let me tell you one thing. If you are hardworking, you can actually outweigh intelligence and talent also, because you will leave everybody behind. And you don't have to actually prove yourself to anybody. When I had come back to India, people had a lot of comments and all, but I just achieved in silence. And I just kept on proving myself. So you don't have to let the negativity affect you. Keep all negative things away from you so that you can actually start believing in yourself, realizing your own talents. And, actually you'll realize that you have so many skills, which many people didn't believe in you. I have felt discriminated being a female entrepreneur many times. People said I'm not business savvy. They said, oh, she has kids, she can't do this, she can't do that. But practically I've proven to be better than them. So discrimination happens all the time. A male investment banker will get better deals. So there's all the time it happens, but you have to just brush it off. You have to believe in your own self and your skills and prove your worth to everybody. So you don't let that affect you. I didn't let that affect me. I removed all negative comments, things from my end. Since the past 7 years, I have raised 2 kids single-handedly. I'm a successful entrepreneur. I run my own firm, Convanto. I'm worldwide recognized. So it's only because I believed in myself. That's it. And because I believed in myself more than anybody else, I think I could do it. I think you need to believe in yourself more than anything else, and have the faith that things do work in the right directions. Read good stuff. Read what's happening in your story. Every day there is a new news. This entrepreneur did this, that entrepreneur did that. Be active on the news, on your stories, on VC news channels, on what the investors are writing on LinkedIn, what sessions are coming up like these, where you can get a lot of insights, where you can ask live questions. So I think it's very important for all of you to have that kind of mindset. And collaborate. Collaborate with people. If you want to look for work, start collaborating, talk to people about investments. Clubhouse has lots of rooms where people talk about investments all the time. If you don't want to participate, don't participate, but just listen to what they are saying. Even that will help you a lot. Start collaborating, have a good network. So all these skills you need to have to become an entrepreneur.
Yes, ma'am, we all agree to this. That was really inspiring.
Yeah.
There's another question, yeah.
So you could reach out to me via my website or LinkedIn. I'm very active on both the places. So feel free to reach out to me on these 2 areas.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you so much for having me here, for spending your precious time and listening to what I was talking about. And if you have any further questions, you may reach out to me on LinkedIn or through my website.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.